Uncle Dan,
Yeah.
the good Lord created, as we know, and this is fact, created the earth in 6 calendar days.
Yeah.
And he commanded...
Which, by the way, I'm going to point out was a trick because because on the first day, he hadn't even invented days yet. So, I don't know if he fudged on that first couple days because days have to do with the rotation of the earth and the sun and stuff. So, and he hadn't even created those yet. So who knows what those first few days were.
He created us in his image and we cheat on our taxes. So I get it, right? This is something is close to godliness. But he commanded, I believe in the second commandment or fourth, that we should keep his Sabbath day holy. And for most people, most right-thinking, good people in the world, that Sabbath day is Sunday.
It's true. It doesn't really matter when you do your Sabbath. Those Seventh-day Adventists, and I was corrected. I did a whole thing a few weeks ago on the Adventists,
sure did.
And I called them Adventists, and was corrected by faithful listeners.
I wonder if
Adventists.
Do they have an outdoor program called Seventh-day Adventurists, do you think? They rock climb.
That's what the Mormons are going to call their new scouting program.
Love it. Yeah, we had a Twitter contest about that. But anyway, today we're going to talk about a how-to, Dan. We're going to have a how-to, which is our favorite thing ever to do these how-tos.
Right.
And you're going to talk about the Sabbath day.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
Here's what happens. You leave your religion. You've been doing it. Maybe you've been doing it your whole life. I certainly had been. 18 years of hard religioning. And in that time, every Sunday, I had business to attend to. And because I grew up Mormon, it was painful and lasted an ungodly amount of time.
Right. And the person who invented the word boredom had never been to a Mormon church service. I think they would have invented a bigger word if they'd gone.
Oh, there would be a whole vocabulary of just that word. The Eskimos have 100 words for snow, and the Mormons just weep a little bit when they think about how boring their lives are.
So our Sundays growing up were burdened with listening to terrible old men with halitosis drone on and on and on about the same goddamn thing every week. We had to do fast offerings. Remember, we had to go collect money from people. We had evening firesides. If we were lucky, there was a roast somewhere in the middle of that. But Sunday was not a fun day, Dan.
Oh my God. And let me tell you something. No group of people in the world are worse at the 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work than Mormons, who will not go, if they can at all avoid it, will not go into their office on Sunday, but still manage to work a full 13-hour day from dawn to dusk, doing various, teaching a class here and then having to give a talk there and then having to, slave over a meal or whatever. They're working too hard on their day of rest. It's a nightmare. But look, you leave the church. You leave your Mormonism, your Seventh-day Adventist. You leave your J-dubs, your Catholic, your what have you.
Right.
And one of the things, apart from getting a 10% raise in your income, one of the things that you have suddenly is a day.
You have Sunday.
And how are you going to do that day? Because...
And let me testify to you, Dan, that I'm going to bear my testimony about Sunday.
Please do.
I hated Sunday. I hated the day. I didn't just hate the church, the going to church, the horrible, all the sadness and boredom and drudgery and the grind around it. I hated the actual day of the week because that's when that all went down. So it took me a long time after I left, and I went out like the Kool-Aid guy through a wall. It took me a long time to begin to learn to like Sunday.
Me too. Very much so. For me, there was a lot mixed into it. There was the dread of Monday, that started about halfway in because I hated school. And there was, it was literally just a nightmare day from dawn to dusk. And then you get through it and then you start the next nightmare.
Right.
So then you get out of it and you start to look around, and you're like a mole coming out of its hole for the first time. You blink 3 times and try and look, and everything's too bright for a minute.
You
And
realize you've got these enormous claws for no reason.
right, weird nose, and then you realize, well, what the fuck am I going to do with myself?
Right.
And so I wanted to bring forth a few suggestions for those who haven't quite found it, who haven't quite figured it out, and for people who think they have a good handle on it.
Right.
As I was researching this, I thought to myself, I'm going to change a few things about my Sundays because I can use it better. I, professional Sunday guy that I am, could do a better Sunday.
Well, listen, I will say that you and I and our 2 wing persons, our spouses, have made some pretty splendid Sundays together.
Oh, we do it up well.
We have enjoyed some glorious Sunday mornings together, but I feel like what you're insinuating is we could do better.
I think we could.
Well, let's dive in.
Well, let's start basic and work our way to the more complex. The first thing everyone needs to learn, and I think this is really sort of universally important, is brunch.
Okay. I thought you were going to start with getting over the guilt, but let's just go right. Let's go right to brunch.
You know what? The thing that will help you the most is if you learn that day drinking is part of what Sunday is meant to be about. Now, some of the Christians have this right. They do a little bit of the wine at the sacrament, but they're not doing it right. So learn your brunch drink of choice. You might be a bloody person. You might be a mimosa person. You might have some other thing. But figure out your brunch drink of choice and then get your brunch on. If you eat before 10 on a Sunday, you're doing it wrong.
Right. And if you finish up in half an hour, you're doing it wrong.
Oh yeah, brunch takes hours. Brunch is not it's a slow and joyful meal.
Here's what I'd say: if you were a Mormon or many other dismal religious affiliations, your church was what, Dan? 3 hours minimum if you didn't have a job, if you didn't have like a church position,
right?
So approach brunch similarly, right?
Yeah.
You are taking back your life one brunch at a time.
Right. Your communion is now Eggs Benedict. So take it
right.
seriously, believe in it, invite friends. You can do it at your favorite brunch restaurant, try several, or you can do it at home hosting, take turns with your buddies and everybody, make up a fruit plate and get sloshed.
Yep.
So that's
day drinking.
That's step one. We're phasing into glorious Sundayhood. But I mean, if there's one thing that we can take from gay culture, it's the sanctity of brunch.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think we all owe you a debt of gratitude. All you and your gay brethren and sistren.
You're welcome.
From there, I think here's the deal. I actually love the idea of a day of rest, a day that is not that we don't give to the problems of the work week. We keep it for ourselves, and we don't have to throw the baby away with the bathwater when we leave religion. We can take what's good about it and maybe even make it better. And I think this is something we can improve on.
Agreed. So, and I think this is one moment, and it's the only one I can think of, Dan, where we can look to rules of the Old Testament and say, yeah, good call. Because it is literally called for a day of rest. Now, as you mentioned, most religious denominations that use Sunday as a Sabbath, it really isn't a day of rest. It's a day of servitude and a day of drudgery. But it's the idea of a day of no fucking plans. The idea of a day of just kicking back, reading the paper, not reading the paper. You want to watch Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze at 2:00 in the afternoon, you fucking do it. That is beautiful.
And if you want to watch it again at 4, go ahead.
Exactly. And day drink, or go for a bike ride, or go see your friends, or do nothing.
So here's where I want to take this idea. what we're talking about is making this a day for you.
Yeah.
And I think that may be one of the most important mental health things that a person could do. And I want to sharpen that point a little bit by saying, take some time. This is an excellent time to don't just do all the things that your id tells you to do. Don't just do the things that make you happy, but also take some time, just 10 minutes every Sunday, and spend some time working on you, understanding who you are. Because really, if we're going to be devotional to ourselves, and I think that making our Sabbath day the day of our devotion, devote it to you. But if you're going to do that, let's do it right. Let's get in there and learn who we are. So, because let me tell you something. When I left church, when I left religion, now granted, I was at an age when nobody really knows who they are. I was at 18 or whatever. But people come out of religion and suddenly you're a new person. You're not just product of a magic daddy in the sky and slave also to that same daddy. You're now your own boss.
You're not a cog in the machine where maybe there was comfort in that machine, maybe there was community in that machine, and there can be a sense of loss when you leave that community and that machine. But what I think Uncle Dan is talking about here is there is also this incredible potential, and Sunday is the day where you may be able to carve out the space to dream of that potential, right? And to take a swim in it, and
That's absolutely right. And
to feel the potential that you have.
So, I'm going to make some small suggestions. You do you how you're going to do you, but I'm just going to throw a few things out. I read a few things online and I liked a few of the suggestions. You can literally, I'm a big fan of journaling. I don't always do it. I go through periods where I actually write in a journal a lot, and I go through periods where I don't. But I learned so much about myself through journaling. And here's if you don't want, if that sounds too much, listen, try this. Every Sunday, set aside 10 minutes and make a list. Just make a list about who you are. Start with small items, 5 to 7 things you like. Just write down a few things you like. Then, make the next one places you want to visit. And make the next one books that you love. And the next one games that you've played that you love. And just literally all you're doing is writing out who you are. You're writing out little lists of things about you. Maybe you expand it as it gets more, as you get deeper into it, you talk about your political views. You make a list of things, social views that you have, hobbies that you like, career goals that you might have.
Right.
And then reflect on it just a little bit. Just ask yourself, is this really me, or was this what I was taught to like? Is this really what I'm about, or is this what Jesus told me to be?
And this is in addition to obviously the 10 minutes to constantly keep the enemies list updated. I get it. Okay, good. So on top of that, there's a dream board.
I'm assuming that the enemies list is just updated regularly throughout the week. That's something that needs constant maintenance.
It's a window open on my laptop all the time.
Right, exactly. So once you get going with that, here's another possible suggestion. What you're doing is you're asking yourself questions. What makes you feel happy? What makes you feel tense or upset? Think about going out with your friends. Think about staying in with your friends. Think about all these things and learn who the fuck you are. I don't want to beat the dead horse there, but here's the other thing. Spend another 20 minutes. So far, I'm only taking up half an hour of your time. Spend another 20 minutes just calming your damned mind. I don't know if that's guided meditation with, the help of one of a billion apps out there that can help you with a guided meditation. I find that useful. Maybe you do some yoga. Maybe it's just coffee out on the porch. Or even coffee alone in your favorite coffee shop. I just think alone time is very important. I think you time is very important. If you've got access to a pool, lay out by it. The Japanese have a concept called Shinrin Yoku, which is basically just sort of taking a long walk or a hike in the woods. And I think a lot of people can love that. They call it like bathing, like forest bathing or something like that. Or just cuddle with your pet.
Yeah,
like
listen, one of my favorite things, and I'm, Uncle Dan knows I have a very active mind, and I'm very busy all the time, and I always try to keep a lot of irons in the fire. But one of my greatest pleasures in life, when I remember to allow myself to do it, is sitting on my little back patio and just watching my cats. Just watching my cats enjoy the heat of the afternoon in total bliss is a drug. It's just amazing to allow myself that simple pleasure that I could allow myself anytime, but I don't. And I kind of have to remind myself to do it. And when I do, it just kind of fills the coffers. It's a beautiful moment.
It's the truth. Here, human beings, I think we've discovered this on this show, are stupid creatures. And the things that most feed us, that most give us joy, sometimes are the things that we have to actually force ourselves to do.
Right.
So I highly recommend carving out this space, and Sunday's a great day to do it. You don't have to take the whole day, but carve out space to be you, and to learn how to be you as fully and as deeply and as beautifully as you can learn to do it.
Well, Dan, a lot of feedback and a lot of kind of requests we get via, people contacting us. And it's something that I think we need to continue to discuss many more times going forward.
Yeah, we'll have to come back to this.
Not only Sunday, but I think this Sunday discussion is a great place to introduce this question, is people saying, I lost a lot of community, and I'm trying to find a place to rebuild that community. We talked about it with No Illusions on his show for a little bit. But I think Sunday's a great opportunity. So Sunday dinner, which in many American Christian households certainly is a very important, family time or community time, that may be a sense of loss. Now, we've already covered brunch. We've already covered you're going to have a mimosa, you're going to have a Bloody Mary, you're going to be with your friends. It's going to be fabulous. But dinner time maybe is a slightly different time. And so I think you have to make a conscious effort to take back that if you're feeling a sense of loss or a sense of emptiness, how can we as skeptics or people who've left this, the world of superstition, how can we rebuild something as important as Sunday night used to be for ourselves?
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's the challenge. And is it that you decide every Sunday night we're going to the movies? Every Sunday night I'm going to my favorite restaurant. Every Sunday night I'm inviting a new group of friends over to watch a movie.
Yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. I think it's incumbent on us not to just mourn the loss of community. It's incumbent on us to create a new one, however hard that seems.
And, you can do that by also joining a hiking group or joining a biking, a cycling group, or find a group. And Sunday, a lot of these things meet on Sundays because everybody's sort of free on the weekends. If you find a group of motorcycle enthusiasts and you can start to make friends that way. You can even go to, and this is I find this fascinating. I don't go regularly, but I've been to there are these groups like Oasis and what's the name of another one? Anyway, there are these Sunday meeting groups that are atheist themed groups, but basically it's church replacement.
And you're talking about Secular Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can go to these groups. Most major cities have them now. If you don't live in a major city, you can drive to one if it's worth it to you. And these groups meet and discuss science and discuss amazing things. And they usually they get good speakers and they have a lot of fun and they build community that way. So there are people who miss the ritual of a Sunday sort of meeting. And, there are even replacements for that.
Right.
So I think that that's lovely.
I
And then
also
I'm-
I also think that there are, we've had a ton of how-tos, Dan, about different things that were denied to you, about exploring different things that were denied to you when you were religious. And so
Right.
if you're in the process of building community or building a new tribe, as our friend Paige says, like making lists or exploring yourself on Sunday, maybe the evening time is a great time to explore, some of the things that were forbidden when you were
Right.
in religion. So
Sure.
a fun way to think of it is, okay, it's the seventh day, explore the 7 deadly sins. Even if that's reading a book, even if that's if Harry Potter was forbidden, you know what? On Sunday evenings, pick it up.
I love it.
If whatever was forbidden to you, don't hesitate to explore it. And
Spend 3 hours looking at porn and masturbating. Have
Right.
some fun.
Or exactly. And the rest of the week you're going to be possessed with making a living and, doing the chores you have to do to kind of get by. But if you have the time to carve out, to allow yourself the freedom that was denied to you, what better use of a Sunday than that?
Yeah. I mean, what we're doing is de and reprogramming our brains. You know what I mean? You gotta change the synapses somehow, because all of that religion has gotten you into some terrible neural patterns, and we have to get ourselves out. So you got to challenge those things. You got to do something that replaces it, and you might as well be like conscious of that, and
Right.
don't just do what happens, but be aware and choose the way that you're going to live that Sunday. And you'll if you do it with purpose, you'll have a much better day of it, a much better life of it.
Totally agreed. And I think so much religion is obviously, at base very fear-based. It's very much scaring you. It's I've been reading our friend Chris Stroop's Twitter feed, and there's all this, terror of hell and phony Christian facts about the world. And you're now in a place, if you have Sundays off and you have some space and you have some ability, you now have a minute during the week to look at the things that scared you and to challenge yourself and confront these fears. And I think you'll find in so many cases, they were things that you had no reason to be afraid of at all. You know what? Listen to an AC/DC album. Do some, even if you think it's silly. And I think this goes back to Dan's, kind of diary thing. Pick one dumb thing from your youth when you were at Bible camp and they told you it was sinful and horrible, and do it for fun. And you will probably amuse the shit out of yourself. And that will be healing.
Yeah. You know what? Look, you're now in the world where science is how we discover the world now, because we're not listening to the prophets of the Bronze Age. So, hey, do some experiments. Try some shit. Even if
Right.
it's stupid, obviously you're not going to, don't hurt anybody, but, fuck it, try, stick your finger in your ass. It doesn't matter. No, You're
Exactly.
fine. It's just
Exactly.
try something.
Rent the horror movie that your pastor told you was the gateway to hell. Rent, Halloween 5. Rent whatever it is, and watch it, and listen to the music, eat the food, drink the thing. And I think that's a really fun, if you're looking for a replacement for the time commitment that Sunday used to be, that could be a very hilarious way to do it. And
That's delightful. Get some friends over and get a Ouija board and
oh
light
my
some
God,
candles.
exactly.
all the
Smoke a clove
things.
cigarette, and really kind of make a thing out of it. Because as we've said many times on this show, there is almost no better medicine. Well, first probably medicine, but after actual medicine, there's no better medicine for the hurt you were caused in religion than laughing at what used to hurt you. So, and believe me, you will clear those hurdles so much faster if you just confront it, laugh at it, own it, And
Sit
what
on
better
its
day to do
face
it than
and
Sunday?
fart on it.
Oh my God, Dan. We're going to edit that out because that is of a sexual nature.
I don't think
that-
it is.
I think this is the first of many, many, many chats about how to Sunday. And I would love to hear from our listeners. So hit us up on email or at howtoheretic.com or howtoheretic@gmail.com, or talk to me on Twitter at howtoheretic, and kind of tell us about how you have, or if you have, taken back Sunday, because I think it's a big deal.
Yeah, and I'm just going to correct one thing because our email address is nothing to do with howtoheretic@gmail.com, but actually it's howto@howtoheretic.com. So
Whatever.
I just want to be accurate with it. Although we probably do have that Gmail account too, but I just want to
I have no
want to
idea.
make sure that we receive all these great suggestions. Anyway,
Send it to the one Dan said.
and let's hear from you, and get out there and have an awesome Sunday, will you?
Yep, it's the 7th day, and you have been commanded to rest, so you better fucking do it.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Moving on.